Hello, this is Val with Folk Art Wings, and I'm going to do a flip through of my latest journal. It kind of is a little different for me because I don't normally do things that are very frilly or pastel-y, but I really actually love this one. I enjoyed working on it. I think it turned out great, and I think it's a wonderful gift for someone. I may give it to someone I really hope that understands all the work that goes into something like this. But I might put it in my shop. So anyways, I put a hand-dyed ribbon sash to tie. I'm including a goodie bag, offcuts, labels, tags, safety pins, buttons, wood buttons, clothespins, bulb pins, tags, swatches, fabric swatches, just a multitude. I think there's a little a millinery leaf in here. You can see, just chock full with the little things in here. It's full. I don't know that you'll need any of this, but I love putting a little goodie bag in so that you might want to take something out that I put in and add your own take to it. Okay, and I always try to add a bookmark, and this is vintage grosgrain ribbon, and I did a little button flower on the top, and it's got 6 signatures. Really cute little tassel. Then we've got all these buttons scattered and twine, and I've got the ribbon that's on the front and back is on the spine too, so it kind of all flows. I've got a little pendant here that I added. It's a little button flower, but I added velvet ribbon and satin ribbon, and they're all very, very old, from the 60s. The fabric that I used to cover it is an upholstery fabric from the 60s. And I covered the inside with some old scrap paper that I'd gotten. And then I added the antique ribbon all the way around. And I've got a backer card, and this is French to English. This is eco-dyed paper, and then I dried the little seed top of a fern and pressed it between the pages of an old book, and then laminated it so it's a nice backer board. And the first signature is this lavender, and I added a tag and hand-dyed some satin ribbon and frayed it, made a little tab on there, and then I dyed the envelope and re-glued it back together, and then did some sewing on it. And inside I have some journaling spots for you, or whoever. And this is old stationery. It's linen stationery and graph paper. And I'll use scissors or punches for the edges. I do a lot of sewing in my journals. This scrap has been sewn down to a French book. And how I got this was, I don't have any of those embossing equipment, tools, and so on that everybody seems to get. And I like to use what I've got. And so I just tore a swatch out, and I put a stencil underneath it and a towel underneath that. So I had a towel, a stencil, and a piece of paper. And then I really pressed really hard and applied, oh goodness, my words aren't coming easy to me today. The white matte. It's kind of a chalky, oh gosh, I can't think of what it is right now. Anyways, it's kind of like a plastery feel, but anyways, I coated it with that, but I pressed really hard with a stiff brush. And then when it dried, I got a little bit of a 3D effect. And so then I just swooshed color over it, and I picked this color to match the cover. So I thought that turned out cute. Little antique lace. This is writing paper for little children that back in the day when they were doing handwriting. I stamped it with Just For You, and it's delicate, and it's kind of ratty, but it's a really great color, and I love it, and it works. A little washi tape. This is writing paper, but I put a velvet rickrack on that. And this is, I dyed the paper book page pink, and then I sewed around it and added hand-dyed aqua lace to it. And I made a little cute little decoration here out of, this is interfacing, and I dyed that in the same bath that I did the book page. And then I put the wooden flower button on top of some chipwood and just made a cute little decoration. And just attached doily and offcut that I sewed, and a little decoration there to keep the doily attached to the old craft paper that I did a little cutting on. Old play money, I sewed 2 big bills together, and then on this side I sewed a pocket down. This came from an old calendar. It was a donut shop. You can see the donuts. And so they did coloring book pages for their calendar that, and it had coupons and so on. And I did a swatch here that I zigzagged everything together, and all these little pieces coordinate with the junk journal. And in the pocket I did some eco dyeing, and then I applied some stickers that I made, labels I made, and offcuts, and picked out words to put on it. And what I used for this is old, from the Dewey Decimal System. I have a friend that's a librarian. She gave me, when they went digital, she gave me most or all of the index cards. And so they all have book names and authors and how many pages, all that detailed information. I think that's cool. And so I made a tag out of that and then sewed around this one and just add some little tabs. This is parchment that I stenciled. I think that's such beautiful, turned out beautiful. Book page, and I just decorated and added ribbon and punched out the edge, and found this image, I thought, and this one, both out of magazines, and they're hard to glue in, and so I sewed this as a pocket, and then I sewed this one onto paper, and so you have a little booklet, and then the stenciling again, and the pocket, and I've got 2 more cards in this one. Old bingo, I put it through the printer, and backed it on some eco paper, and then put a little straw top on it. And then I just collaged a bunch of book page on scrapbook paper, and in between that is one of those index cards from the card catalog. So it's 3 layers, really, more in some places because the overlap of the papers. And then a hand-dyed ribbon top to it. And on this side, I've got a flip up. Okay, so I sewed around this little label. This is manufactured and someone gifted it to me. And then I added some hand-dyed lace, and I've got like a bridge scorecard, some paper, some, this is linen, stationery, lined paper, and another scorecard. I thought that was cute. And just decorated this page, and I love that image. I think that's really pretty. And I tried to use, I cut this out, well, I tore it out, of a music book, and the illustrations are so fantastic, from like the 40s maybe. And then we're duplicating what was on the front side of the signature. And so I took book page here and put a little corner pocket out of some stationery. And then from a magazine, the colors work so well, and I backed it with book page. And that's just something cute. And you could put glue tissue paper down with a glue stick, and it'll mute that if you want writing space out of it. But I thought the colors were great. And then this is eco-dyed paper, And I just tore this pen and ink illustration out of a garden book and attached that. And this is sewn all around. Graph paper again. And I put a little paper ruffle, sewed that down. That's our first signature, and here's our second. Cute little tags pinned with that same dyed silk ribbon. Cute little tags. And I've got a pocket on this side. And I've got eco-dyed paper, and hopefully you can see the ferns. Isn't that pretty? Just turned out so beautiful. And of course, all the laces dyed, hand dyed. Oh, I bent that a little bit. And crochet laces hand dyed. And that's from the 60s. This is from the 50s. And I've got some scrapbook paper for you to write on or use in an artistic way through your journal. And I've got 2 journal cards here that, this is a paint chip when they used to make them big. And I just sewed all around it and added something cute. That aren't junk awards. Crazy wording. I don't know what it means, but I thought it was kind of funny. And then I've got some cloth ribbon that I got a long time ago. And this is one of those index cards, card catalog cards. And I eco-dyed it and put a little ribbon on the top, used some Monopoly money in that ribbon, and then fussy cut a cute little guy out of a book, pen and ink illustration. And we've got book page here that I decorated, and a pocket on this side. And this is a collage, and then you've got a cute butterfly there, pretty little butterfly. And this is heavy coffee dyed with 1930s millinery flowers, little cheesecloth, you know, just collaged. Nice ribbon that comes from a long time ago, but I don't know what day. This image was in a book, so I cut that out. Got this from a garden book, then zigzagged all around it. So you have plenty of places to journal. Decorated this old scrapbook paper and punched the edge. Isn't that pretty? Someone has to do it. I love that. Graph paper. I didn't like her mouth, so I decorated it. So if you do want to see what's under, I don't know, but you can salvage it, but I didn't like it. And I thought that was a pretty little decoration, and then I collaged all around it. And this says, and I love the way, and then the word years, and then right. So I thought those words were pertinent to recording your thoughts in a journal. And that kind of came from an art book that I got back, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many years ago. It was a long time ago. And I did some of that bubble dyeing that you can do on paper. And on this side, I reproduced some notes from a girl in high school had made in her French book. And so I just added that and a little strip of wallpaper, the word color. And I stenciled this on some craft paper. And we've got some vintage 40s, 30s or 40s rickrack. And this is all eco-dyed paper. And then I decorated it. And you can see all the different hues of pink in it. And there's the stem of one of my big fig leaves. I just love that. And the feel of the paper is just marvelous. All that's eco-dyeing effect. So much fun. A little vellum. And very vintage lace here on this book page. I just love that. I thought it was so pretty. It's like almost all hand crocheted, you know. And then decorated the book page. And this is that music book with the great illustrations in it. Just love it. So pretty. And that's the center. And we have a waterfall effect with plenty of paper to jot down your thoughts. And some eco-dyed paper. This is in the pink tones. And just did some collaging on it that I thought went with the journal. And the vellum in the eco-dyed paper again. And you can see the leaves, the impression. And a little collaging. Very pretty. I just think it's so much fun. You don't know what you're going to get. And then a little craft paper with some collaging on it. A pocket with 2 journal cards. And this is a paint chip card that I sewed all around it, backed with writing paper. And I love this cutout. I just thought it was so unique, and the colors work great. I've been saving that for a long time. Came from an art book. And then this came from a magazine. I thought it was so precious. And this is vintage ribbon and plenty of space. And I sewed on both of them. Pretty. Big collage here. Vintage ribbon. And this one I did not dye. It was that color. Graph paper. And I saved this picture for a long time. This little ballerina image. Isn't that pretty? Just to put her right there in that little spot. Then we flip over and we've got that plenty of writing space, like I said. And I punched the edges of so many of the pages. And this is book page here. And I've got a collage on it. And then we have a belly band out of vellum. This vellum has some of the dyes from my Eco dyeing. I put a sheet of, well, it's really not a vellum, I'm sorry. It's baking sheet paper. It's white, and then it gets a little more thinner looking, but it's crinkly, and it's got texture to it. And you can see spots of the Eco dyeing. And what I do is I take a sheet pan, I lay the parchment down, then I start laying the Eco dyed papers haphazardly on this sheet pan. And I do it about maybe an inch thick, but try not to put the papers exactly on top of each other like that, kind of like, you know, that kind of thing. And then I bake it. And when it comes out, this is the bottom sheet, and I save them because the colors are really great. And in that belly band, we've got, I've sewed a fussy cut image. I did it in book page first, and then put the image on top. And then we've got one that's been sewn with 2 of these fussy cut gals on it. I thought they were pretty, and the colors of their dresses mesh real well. And then this is an old congratulations postcard. And look at the colors. Isn't that pretty? So, so pretty. So I stuck that in there. And another waterfall of writing papers. Various pieces, okay? Decorate a little bit. And we're on to number 3, signature. I have this old diaper pen, and so I put a little tag with a vintage button, and I've got that same hand-dyed silk ribbon. And I dyed this lace and made a pocket here on the front. And so I've got 2 pieces, a book page illustration, another book page that I put together. Very pretty, I think. And another one of those postcards, wishing you well. But look at that cute image. So darling. And then I layered from the donut shop paper from the calendar again, and put a magazine picture on here that's just gorgeous. Put some ribbon on it and sewed all around it. Okay. And this is from a children's book. I thought it was so beautiful. And I put a very old crocheted flower from the 60s, maybe earlier. My grandmother used to make them. So it might have been 30s or 40s. And then I did a little stamping on some graph paper. And just some testing on some of my paintbrushes. So I saved those, offcuts and so on. And this is more of that baking sheet paper, lace attached, and a little pleated book page, and a cutout from a magazine. And I sewed down, glued it on, and then I sewed down. And then I've got a little stamped pocket here with just, I happen to have a library of books rubber stamp from years and years and years ago, and I don't know where I got it, some yard sale probably. And it was so funny that I finally had a friend that was a librarian, and then she had, gave me all the cards, and I have started doing this hobby. I've done so many different things. Right now I'm addicted to these. And I love pen and ink, so I always try to use those out of garden books. I just think that's so pretty. Music sheet, and I punch the edge. This is construction paper that's kind of unique. I used to be a kindergarten aide, and so we used papers like this. But I got this outside of work. I mean, I didn't take things from work. But anyways, did a little decorating at top. I've got some little flip ups here, lots of little pages, some to write on, some to tear out, used for swatches and so on. This is pen and ink that I drew myself. Years ago, I had brochures, and this is back in the day when you make do with what you've got. And I did wholesale markets, and my husband and I sold product all over the country, and it was all handmade, and we actually were selling around the world. It got to that point after 20 years. But anyways, I decorated one of those sheets and had folded up, made a pocket, and made 2 journal cards here. I think that's so cute. And another pocket over here, and 2 more journal tags. Really cute, all collage. That one's all collage. And this is just beautiful, and a lot of sewing on them. And then we've got that construction paper and the music sheet, and another garden image, a pen and ink drawing, and a little velvet rickrack. And then we've got a little cute, I took a book page out of an art book, made a little envelope out of it, and inside are all these cute little, of course I just pushed everything down. Okay, we've got some cardstock and a folded piece of writing paper. So you've got some things that you can jot things down, or pull one of them out and decorate a page with. So look for those, they might sink down. Little pocket here out of some stamped business card kind of things that I had laying around. And this is, I did an eagle dye bath for this card, and then I did some ribbon and some paper to make that tag. And then this is coffee dyed with vintage 1930s lace and some collaging. Just had fun. And sewed a little image down on the baking sheet paper. My testing of my watercolors, and then I pressed some flowers on the page. Graph paper, children's book page, so cute. Pocket with several journaling spots. A lot of collaging and sewing. Page of stationery. Magazine. Backed with printer paper and sewed all around. So there's a lot of things in here to work with. Okay, next signature, so pretty. Decorated with tags on the end, and you can label your sections. And I got another one of those dyed envelopes. I sewed around it. And I've got a page of stationery here. Very pretty. If I can get my fingers to work. And another piece of paper, and an eco-dyed piece in the muted pinks with my ferns. You can barely see them on this side, much lighter. There's always a light side and a more, potent side. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. And I sewed around it, and it's just, the feel of it's just gorgeous. Put those back in. Okay, got a little pocket here with a little Holly Hobby kind of characters there. Folded vintage stationery. This is very old. Got this in the 60s with a hydrangea on the bottom. Just very pretty. And chipboard, and I just did a little tag. And then that is attached to some stationery. More decoration. This motif here, it is an applique that's been, I got it from a millinery shop, and I think it's machine made, but it's so pretty, and I just kind of collaged on that almanac page and then backed it with printer paper. And did a fussy cut flower and attached that to a garden book page. This is coffee dyed paper. Thought this image was really cute. Got that out of a book. And this came from a magazine. I just loved all of it. I actually stenciled my bedroom, I painted a pale yellow, and then I stenciled all the walls. It was so much work. And now it's plain gray, because that's what my husband wanted. So, you know, I had to say goodbye to all that work, but we had it like that for about 20 years, so I really enjoyed it. And hand-dyed lace, and then look at the color. I mean, both of them match so well in this stencil idea. Just so cute. This is eco-dyed paper, punched out. You can see I'm doing that. This is a piece where I pressed leaves in, and it left some imprints, so I'm using those in the journals. I thought it was real pretty. And this image is so gorgeous, and it's applied to a book page that I folded up to make a double spread. And so I just put some collages on both with fabric. And I put, let's see what I've got in the pocket here. A little bit of notepad and a 3x5 card. And I just played around with some watercolors and a zigzag rolling tool that you can use to with carbon paper back in the day. I don't know if anybody knows what carbon paper is today, but anyways, you could do that and it would make that impression, that color and decoration of a zigzag all over. And sometimes you can get one in a bake shop, because some people cut out their pie crust with and do their strips with that zigzag cut. So if you want to look for something like that, I'm sure you could find it in a bake shop. And then this is just cardstock that I sewed all around, put a little tab on, and eco-dyed and double layered, and some stamping and a little word on it, some antique hand-dyed ribbon. And on this side, I've got equally some cute things. A scorecard for bridge. I think it's bridge. And then just coloring book page on the back. There we go. I couldn't see what I was doing. Half a sheet of printer stationery. And two little old notepad sheets that I found at a garage sale. And then I just rubber stamped. No, I didn't rubber stamp that. That's from one of my pen and inks. And I changed the color from black to purple just to see if it would come out, and it did. Really cute. It was what I call a button card, and I would make clay buttons and sew them to the card. And then we've got a little flip up, different various eco-dyed papers and book pages and so on, with some old lace. And just decorated, sewed that down to the book page, the back. And then there's that leaf imprint. Isn't that great? That's hydrangea. And eco-dyed. And you can see the punching. And that magazine image. Look at that piece of furniture. Isn't that beautiful? Great ideas. Coffee dyed paper, book page. Just put a little cute decoration on it. Did a decoration here too. And then this is double-sided almanac page. It's always so thin, and it's newsprint, and so I just backed it with some stationery, put the color side down. It really had purple in it. I should have done it the reverse, and so you could have seen the color. Then I fussy cut this out of a garden book. And I've got another fussy cut corner here that corner pocket. And I've got more journaling space. Put a belly band on the back of that one. And accepting imperfection. I have to remind myself about that because I've never done anything that was perfect. So I need to remember it's okay. That is okay. Don't keep striving for it. Another little tag. I backed different book page. And this was from a magazine, and I backed it on one of those index cards. So it's sturdy. Put some little tags on them. Okay, then we're down to the next signature. Love the combinations that I put here. This was really an offcut from magazine, and actually could get it to, no, that was stationery, and I actually got it to stay down real well. And I've got some tags, a belly band right off the bat with a beautiful butterfly. And we just have some neat little journal spots for you. Just a variety there tucked in. Okay, and another ballerina on some paper, music paper, writing paper, a little collage. I had these book plates. They're so beautiful, so I put that on some heavy coffee dyed book page. And I did a little stenciling and then to kind of lighten it up. It was such a heavy page. And then I fussy cut some flowers out. Stationery, and I folded it up to make a pocket. Okay, and you've got more spaces to write. Book page, heavy coffee dyed. Got a little pocket here. And it's been collaged. And I just have some, another little pen and ink that I used to use. I put my pins on this. We did pins. Real cute pins, folk art pins. And then we've got some writing space here. And then this is an eco-dyed piece. So you can see the stems here. It's very muted where the leaves were. You never know what you're going to get, really. You can feel the impression of the stems on this side. Okay. And we've got another belly band, a wide belly band. Pull these out so you can see what you've got. Just cute little, offcuts of things that you can write on or use to decorate. I mean, you could take that, put it down the side here and write over here. And then you could attach something here or just spend time coloring that in. Be pretty. And then we have a little flip up attached. I love making these. They're so simple and they really are cute, and they give you a lot of swatch pieces. And fussy cut those flowers out of garden book. My husband's an avid gardener, and I do the landscaping. He does the vegetable production, and he's organic totally, and he does a beautiful job. He has raised beds now that he's older. I told him, it's just too hard on his back, bending way down. So let's keep raising it. So each year it's come up a little. He had one layer about that high off the ground, and then he added another layer. So it's progressing. But anyways, he just absolutely loves gardening. And that's got graph paper on this side, and a large graph paper, and then a decoration. So I brought up the gardening because I use his seed catalogs throughout all of my journals. They're just such a great source of something's just so beautiful. You can't beat nature. It's just beautiful. Got a little pocket here, and I've collaged it, and several different pieces to write on. And some coffee dyed French book paper, stationery, and it says write, and some washi tape on it. and a lot of little pieces in here for you to journal on. All vintage papers, just about every paper is. Once in a while, my husband will get a notepad in the mail from some organization that he donates to, and so he gives those to me. And that's that book page that I coffee dyed, and it's a gardening book, very dark. It was all black and white, so I kind of lightened it up with a stencil, and then I punched the edge. It makes it really sturdy paper. And I sewed this fussy cut flower down, some writing paper, music sheet, and plenty of writing space, plenty of places for you to decorate. I love this little kilt pin with the butterflies, so I added that. And we've got 2 pockets here made out of hand-dyed satin ribbons. And so in the bottom pocket, you've got some folded stationery. And then we've got one of the card catalogs with scrapbook paper on one side. And just a little swatch here of some checked paper that you could put anywhere in your little journal. And another little tag. Isn't that darling? Look at that. So cute. And then, let me tuck these back in. The top pocket has play money and more paper to write on and fold it up, and plenty of writing space, plenty of drawing space. Children's book, and this is very vintage lace. It is so old. It's from the 20s or 30s. And I sewed that on there, book page, and decorated with my pen and ink, and then punched out a little bit, put a little image from a seed catalog. And vellum paper, that construction paper I brought back in this one. And then I cut that out of a magazine. Thought it went real well with the color scheme, and that's French book paper. French book paper, I had 2 pages together there. And you can see I sewed it. And I did a beautiful little collage here with a bird, and this is heavy coffee dyed paper. It's a book page, and I stenciled on that to kind of lighten it up. And then this is heavy cardstock, and it was for no cards. I got that from a supplier back in the 80s. And I made a little, took a magazine image. It was an art image in the book, in the magazine. Thought it was so pretty, so I sewed that down with gold lame thread and some vintage lace, and just clipped it to that book page. The stationery that I had earlier in the journal, that book page, pen and ink illustration, that heavy stationery, and I decorated the edge with some dyed, hand-dyed netting, put a tag on it, and that book page I heavy coffee dyed, and I punched the edge and did some stenciling. And then I've got the French paper, just put a little stamp on it there. Did a collage on the construction paper, and then we've got vellum again. And I think the vellum looks great on that construction paper. And then you can see I punched, you know, and did a cute little image here. I fussy cut book page, and then I fussy cut the magazine image, sewed it together, and it's all collaged there. Same thing here. Old lace, old piece of fabric. Isn't that cute? Book page, pocket. And I made this pocket out of a 3x5 card. And let me get this out. I'll tell you about those stamps. Okay, I collaged this, and what I did was just flicked my paintbrush on the old 3x5 card, and it's got lines on it. And then I did a collage to coordinate with the journal. And then I've got one of my eco-dyed papers I sewed around it. Put that in the pocket. I've got some offcuts, stationery, note paper, origami. This origami is beautiful, and I actually got this in Japan. Isn't that pretty? A tag. And another eco-dyed tag, and I decorated a little bit. Cute little brad on it. This is what I wanted to tell you about. I ordered stamps on eBay, and I was looking for vintage or antique stamps, used or unused. And I got a whole envelope of them that came to my house. And look, they're just cut out of a magazine or a book or something. They're not real stamps, and I was hoping that it could be an old book, but they're not vintage, real vintage stamps. I was a little disappointed, but I thought most of them were pretty, so I kept them. And that's the end of our 6th signature. So there you go. You've got a lot to play with, a lot to look at, a lot to enjoy. It can be for yourself, for a friend. If I put it in my shop, I will list in the description the link to it. And my shop is on Etsy. But I do love it. I don't know. I might hold on to it, might let go. The problem is I keep holding on, and I'm in my 70s. I've got to let go. Anyways, I enjoyed making this. I hope you enjoyed the flip through, and I hope you come back. That's it in a nutshell. There you go. Bye-bye.